Well, we're a bit overdue for another walkthrough video, and quite frankly, they're a lot faster to produce than a time-lapse video, so here you go. Since the last time, we've added those eyebrow windows up at the top, and we've closed the whole place in. We've also finished the two lower roof sections, and I'll be starting on the upper roof later today. Then we'll focus on the inside and leave the outside alone until spring comes around again. I recently bought a FLIR ONE Pro heat vision camera, so we'll be able to take that for a test drive also. It's easy to misinterpret the images you see. For instance, the bright roof sections are not leaking heat, but probably re-radiating heat from the shingles still warming up all day. And the darker purple patches on the ground and the bottom of the wall are from snow melt water. On the left side of the front door, you can see the retaining wall has warmed up in the sun and is re-emitting heat rather than just leaking it. But still, we'll learn to get some interesting insight from this tool going forward. I especially bought it for the radiant floors, where these complicating outdoor factors won't be a problem. I'd only just recently arrived before turning this on, so it's interesting to see that the truck tires are still warm. See from the chimney that the kids must have started a fire right away as well. Back to the visible spectrum. This roofing section was my most recent accomplishment. I'll be spray foaming the underside at some point, but at least the outside is waterproof now. Under infrared, it looks like this. Pretty sure most of that heat is just the shingles and masonry warming up in the sun. The difference between those bright yellow shingles and the orange color is about 8 degrees. Looking over at the bedrooms, and I'll remind you that the flat portion around the windows is more than 12 inches thick, mostly insulation. And the flying concrete shape around them is completely uncoupled from the house structure. That eerie music is Michael practicing in the house somewhere. The house is acoustically interesting and he likes to walk around playing. That purple spot on the wall is probably because snow melt was dripping down into that spot all morning and cooling it off. Same on the front wall. Next spring we'll build the concrete sunshade on the front of this house, and it connects to the main house I-beams through that knockout under that roof edge. The other side of the arch will connect over here on this side. This section was also completed fairly recently, but it still needs a few little details. Let's go inside. Sherry's just starting working on insulating the playroom wall. You see the ceiling up there is not insulated yet. Going into the living room. The boys set up that desk to do their homework by the fire, which they've already got going. Currently, it's the only source of heat for the house, and they just lit it when we got here, so it hasn't really warmed things up yet. That pounding sound is Sherry using the staple hammer in the other room. The audio on this heat camera seems more sensitive than on my cell phone. You see the little temperature probes. For these temperature readings, they're showing the emissive surface temperature. It seems to feel warmer than that to me in here. We'll check out the thermometer later to get the air temperature. With the vaults like this, it looks actually more like the computer model because of the false color. It's interesting. See, the chairs are being heated by the fire already. Let's go check out what Sherry's doing. She doesn't like working in front of the camera. This is how the eyebrow windows look now. Sherry'd also painted these walls since the last walkthrough video. On a nicer day it feels really nice. You can see clouds and blue sky, but today it's just gray. Sherry's been working on this new double wall between the playroom and the guest room. We have already insulated the first layer. So there's insulation here, and there's a stud from the other side here. The studs are offset by about 8 inches so that the sound can't travel directly through. And now we're insulating this new layer. plumbing for the guest bathroom is in here. You'll see some electrical conduit, etc. Let's go around to the other side into the guest room. And you can see the guest room side of the wall. Okay, switch to infrared. And let's check the air thermometer. It looks like 48, so that's pretty close actually. I'll check it again after the fires had the chance to warm the place up a bit. Let's go outside on the north side. I'm working on the video for the time-lapse video for building this north side wall right now, and that'll be the next thing we release. You can see the windows up there are new too. No soil up there on this center section yet. We'll take care of that in the spring and connect the soil from the left and right sides together. You'll be able to walk straight across. The main reason I came out here was for the heat camera, so let's try that out. Note that the ground and the house appear to be very similar in temperature, same color. I suspect the more purple regions are also a bit wet from the snow melt, and that's what's cooling them off. The stones there are about 17 degrees and the hill is about 20 degrees. As I move down the hill away from the house, it doesn't really change much, suggesting that we're not really losing heat from the house through all this hill. Not counting the snowmelt patches, the walls of the house are just a couple degrees warmer than the hill. Since this is the north side of the house, that's probably heat leaking out. When we start to heat the house, we'll increase the temperature difference and we'll be able to see a larger gradient and probably more detail. Let's check out the mechanical room. I haven't done too much down here lately. You can see the incoming air temp from the earth tubes as 54 and 51 degrees. Not bad considering it's in the low 30s outside. I'll eventually duct these all, but for now they just use the whole room as a duct. You just suck it in and then blow it out again. This fan is out while I set up this box in my free time. I'll mount this here and then complete the box so I can suck in air from the earth tubes below. The 8 earth tubes in here often blow even without the fans. So this one here often pops its cardboard cork. You can feel it blowing, but it's hard to see because it's not turbulent. It's a bit slower air, but it feels steady. Pretty steady, somewhat laminar flow. It's pushing the ribbon out at an angle. It's hard to see, I guess. Here's move it outside the duct. You can see how it hangs next to the duct. And then in front, you can see it swing out a bit. I should get a pinwheel for this. Well, take my word for it. Switching to heat vision. Remember, you can't actually see air temperatures with this thing, just surface temperatures. You can see the electronics on the water softener and on the little pump there. Those fans are only 40-some watts, so they don't produce a lot of heat on their own, but you can see the display produces a little. And looking down inside this tube, it's 40-something in the tube, which is at least 10 or 12 degrees warmer than outside. The electrical panel is also interesting to see. What's odd now that I'm reviewing the video is that some of those circuits have nothing plugged in. For instance, the microwave circuit only leads to a single outlet, and nothing is plugged into that outlet. So I don't know why it's lit up. I'll need to investigate why that circuit's warm. The hot water heater circuits are on the bottom left, and they're cool. The hot water heater was probably used recently though. You can see that the unit and the outlet line are warm. It heads off toward the bathroom and the garage. I should probably insulate those at some point. Sherry's back to work. I still have no idea where Michael is playing his instrument. He's probably following us around here somewhere. The grate up there goes all the way up to the skylights. We don't really need the lights on in here. Let's check out the bedrooms. You can see we have some tiling supplies. We'll be working on those bathroom floors next week. The boys are slowly framing out their closets when they get a chance. See that rail up there? We'll cover the closets in those tongue and groove boards. And there's a barn rail for the door. Michael's closet design is a little bit different. It doesn't go all the way to the ceiling, and he's got these little cubbies that will attach after the vertical boards are in. I don't want to put them in first because I'll have to cut around them. It's easier to cut out the boards and place them in later. This is the master bedroom. You can see we're using this as a staining station. Go into the master bathroom. We got these vanities delivered recently for the 2 bathrooms. We're still waiting on the sink top. You can see the color, but we'll probably change the hardware to match the rest of the house. Guess you don't really need the lights on in here with the skylights. It'll be even better when we surface that skylight tunnel with something more reflective. The bedrooms do also have their own small mechanical room, and I decided to start there first with the radiant floors. You can see it's a single manifold, and I already bought most of the bits for the heating system. The rest is still coming in the mail. I'm really looking forward to putting that together. That's when the heat camera will be really useful to see the tubes in the floors. Now, where is that instrument? I suspect he's been following us around a bit, but I'm not sure where he is. There's David, he's working on the fire. And I need to get back to work too. Okay, now it's the end of the day, a few hours past dark. We just finished loading up the truck to go home, and I turned on the camera for one last view. It's now well below freezing outside, and everything is covered in frost. Interestingly, you can see that the shingled and rubber roof sections are cool now. They're black with lots of emissivity, but not much thermal mass, so they've already dumped all their heat, and not much is leaking through, so they look darker. On the other hand, the walls, especially the massive retaining wall and those heavy masonry walls, are still very warm from the sun. You can also see that David is warm there, but the truck that hasn't been started yet is still cold. Let's split screen to see the differences again. I really should have put the scales right into the recordings. And keep in mind that these are using separate scales that vary based on the min-max temperature in each scene. So purple in one isn't the same as purple in the other. Still, it's interesting to see the extremes that have changed. And you can see the roof and the walls have sort of switched in terms of which is bright and which is dark. Anyway, interesting. I'm looking forward to playing with this tool more as we move forward. Thanks all for following along.